Hello and welcome to the Sleep Room YouTube channel. Tonight we have a story for you. Are you ready? Then let Rapunzel read this tale for us.
The Lonely Librarian of Alexandria. You wake slowly in your small chamber above the Library of Alexandria. The first rays of dawn filter through the narrow window, casting gentle shadows across the papyrus scrolls that line your modest room. The year is 280 BC, and you are Demetrius, a keeper of scrolls in the greatest library the world has ever known. Your chamber is simple, humble, with a narrow bed made of palm wood, covered in soft linen woven from the flax that grows along the Nile Delta. You rise slowly, feeling the cool morning air against your skin. The walls of your chamber are made of sun-dried mud bricks, the same bricks that have sheltered the people of Egypt for thousands of years. Above your head, the ceiling is painted with simple geometric patterns in ochre and blue, colors made from the earth itself. Your bare feet touch the cool stone floor. The stones were quarried from the hills near Memphis, each one carefully cut and fitted by skilled craftsmen. You stretch gently, feeling the quiet peace that comes with dawn. Outside your window, you can hear the gentle sounds of Alexandria awakening, the distant call of fishing boats returning from the Mediterranean, their nets heavy with the night's catch, the soft shuffle of sandaled feet on stone streets, the quiet murmur of early vendors setting up their stalls in the agora. You dress slowly, pulling on your simple tunic of undyed linen. The fabric is soft against your skin, woven in the traditional Egyptian style that has remained unchanged for centuries. Around your waist, you tie a leather cord, and from it hangs a small bronze key, the key to the scroll chambers below. You walk to your small wooden table. On it sits a bowl of water, brought fresh from the public fountain each morning. The water is cool and clear, drawn from the great cisterns that collect the precious rainwater. You splash your face gently, feeling the water's coolness awaken your senses. Your breakfast is simple. As always, a piece of flatbread made from emmer wheat, the ancient grain that has fed Egypt since the time of the pharaohs. You spread it with a little honey, golden and thick, harvested from the beehives that dot the rooftops of Alexandria. The honey tastes of the jasmine and acacia flowers that bloom along the Nile. You eat slowly, savoring each bite. As you chew, you think about the day ahead, the scrolls that await your attention, the students who will come seeking knowledge, the quiet satisfaction of preserving the wisdom of the ages. Through your window, you can see the great lighthouse of Alexandria, the Pharos, standing tall against the morning sky. Its white marble gleams in the early light, and thin wisps of smoke rise from the fire that burns constantly at its peak. The lighthouse is one of the 7 wonders of the world, and you never tire of seeing it. You finish your simple meal and prepare to descend to the library below. But first, you pause to look out over the city you love. Alexandria stretches before you, a city of wide streets and marble columns, of gardens and fountains, of scholars and merchants from every corner of the known world. The city was founded by Alexander the Great over 40 years ago, and named in his honor. It was built where the Nile Delta meets the Mediterranean Sea, in a place where the fertile black soil of Egypt meets the endless blue of the sea. It is a city of two worlds, the ancient world of the pharaohs and the new world of Greek learning. You make your way down the narrow stone steps, each step worn smooth by countless feet. The steps are carved from local limestone, and they echo softly with each footfall. The sound is muffled and peaceful, like a gentle whisper in the morning stillness. At the bottom of the steps, you reach the great doors of the library. The doors are made of cedar wood, imported from the mountains of Lebanon. The wood is dark and fragrant, and carved with images of papyrus plants and lotus flowers, symbols of wisdom and rebirth. You insert your bronze key into the lock and turn it slowly. The mechanism is simple but well made, crafted by skilled metalworkers who understand the importance of protecting knowledge. The lock clicks softly, and the doors swing open with barely a whisper. You step into the library and immediately feel the profound silence that fills this sacred space. The silence is not empty, but full, filled with the presence of thousands upon thousands of scrolls, each one containing the thoughts and dreams of human minds. The library is vast, its ceiling soaring high above your head, supported by columns of polished marble. The columns are carved in the Corinthian style, with capitals decorated with acanthus leaves. The marble comes from quarries on the island of Proconnesus, and it gleams softly in the morning light. Between the columns, tall shelves stretch from floor to ceiling. Each shelf is filled with pigeonholes, and each pigeonhole contains a scroll. The scrolls are made from papyrus, the ancient writing material that grows wild in the marshes of the Nile Delta. The papyrus is harvested by skilled workers who know exactly when the reeds are ready, when the pith is sweet and strong. You walk slowly through the library, your footsteps echoing softly on the marble floor. The air smells of papyrus and ink, of cedar wood and beeswax. It is a smell that has become as familiar to you as your own breath. It is the smell of knowledge, of wisdom preserved for future generations. As you walk, you run your fingers along the wooden shelves. The wood is smooth and warm, worn to a soft patina by countless hands. The shelves were built by skilled carpenters who understood that they were creating something that would last for centuries. Each joint is perfectly fitted, each surface carefully smoothed. You pause at one of the great reading tables. The table is made from a single piece of marble, its surface polished to a mirror-like finish. On the table, someone has left a scroll partially unrolled. You can see the neat Greek letters marching across the papyrus, each letter carefully formed by a skilled scribe. The scroll contains a work by Euclid, the great mathematician who teaches here in Alexandria. His work on geometry is revolutionary, bringing order and logic to the study of shapes and numbers. You roll the scroll carefully, protecting the fragile papyrus, and place it in its proper pigeonhole. You continue your slow walk through the library, checking each section, ensuring that all is in order. The library is organized according to the system developed by Callimachus, the great poet and scholar who serves as the library's cataloger. Each scroll has its place, each subject its proper section. In the philosophy section, you find scrolls containing the works of Plato and Aristotle. Their words speak of justice and beauty, of the nature of reality and the pursuit of truth. The scrolls are worn from much use, their edges softened by countless hands. Students come from across the Mediterranean to study these works. You move to the poetry section, where the works of Homer rest alongside those of Sappho and Pindar. The scrolls containing the Iliad and the Odyssey are among the most precious in the library. These ancient stories tell of heroes and gods, of love and war, of the eternal struggles of the human heart. The mathematics section holds the works of Archimedes, whose brilliant mind has unlocked the secrets of circles and spheres. His writings on the lever and the screw have practical applications, but they also reveal the underlying order of the universe. The scrolls are covered with diagrams, circles and triangles drawn with compass and straightedge. You pause at the medicine section, where the works of Hippocrates share space with more recent treatises on anatomy and healing. The scrolls describe the four humors, blood and phlegm, yellow bile and black bile, whose balance determines health and disease. There are detailed drawings of the human body, showing the network of veins and arteries, the structure of bones and muscles. The morning light grows stronger, filtering through the high windows of the library. The windows are made of thin sheets of alabaster, which diffuse the light into a soft, warm glow. The alabaster comes from quarries in Upper Egypt, and it has been carefully selected for its translucent properties. You make your way to your own small desk, tucked into a quiet corner of the library. The desk is simple, made of sycamore wood, its surface ink-stained from years of use. On the desk, you keep your tools, reed pens and bronze styluses, small pots of ink made from soot and gum arabic, a bronze ruler for measuring and drawing lines. You sit in your chair, a simple wooden seat with a woven rush bottom. The rushes grow in the marshes of the delta, where they are harvested by skilled workers who know which plants make the strongest, most durable weaving material. The chair creaks softly as you settle into it, a familiar sound that marks the beginning of your workday. Your first task is to check the new scrolls that arrived yesterday. A ship from Athens brought a collection of plays by Sophocles, works that are not yet in the library's collection. You examine each scroll carefully, checking for damage, noting the scribe's hand, assessing the quality of the papyrus. The scrolls are wrapped in linen, dyed with saffron to protect them from insects. Saffron is precious, worth more than gold. Harvested from the tiny stigmas of crocus flowers. It takes hundreds of flowers to produce a single ounce of saffron, but its protective properties make it essential for preserving precious texts. You unwrap the first scroll slowly. The papyrus is of excellent quality, smooth and evenly colored. The scribe's hand is clear and confident, each letter perfectly formed. The text is Sophocles' tragedy Antigone, a powerful story of duty and defiance, of the conflict between human law and divine will. As you read, you are transported to the theater of Dionysus in Athens, where this play was first performed. You can almost hear the voices of the actors, the chorus chanting their ancient words, the audience gasping at the tragic climax. The power of the written word to preserve and transmit human experience never ceases to amaze you. You make a note in your catalog, recording the title, the author, the condition of the scroll, the name of the scribe. This information will help future scholars find and use the work. The catalog is written on papyrus sheets, bound together with leather cords. It is a growing record of all human knowledge. The second scroll contains another play by Sophocles, Oedipus Rex, perhaps the most famous of all Greek tragedies. You have read this play many times, but each reading reveals new depths, new insights into the human condition. The story of Oedipus, who unknowingly kills his father and marries his mother, speaks to the power of fate and the limits of human knowledge. You continue your examination of the scrolls, each one a treasure, each one a link in the great chain of human learning. The morning passes slowly, peacefully, marked only by the soft rustling of papyrus and the gentle scratch of your pen as you make notes. A student approaches your desk, walking softly on sandaled feet. He is young, perhaps 20 years old, with the eager eyes of someone hungry for knowledge. His chiton is simple but clean, marking him as a free citizen but not wealthy. He carries a wooden tablet covered with wax, the standard equipment for a student. Master Demetrius, he says softly, I seek the works of Herodotus, the historian. You smile gently. You have helped this student before. His name is Apollodorus, and he comes from a family of merchants, but his passion is for history, for understanding how the great events of the past have shaped the present. You rise slowly from your chair and gesture for him to follow. You lead him to the history section, where the works of Herodotus occupy a place of honor. Herodotus is known as the father of history, the first writer to attempt a systematic account of past events. His work describes the wars between the Greeks and the Persians, but it also contains fascinating details about the customs and beliefs of many different peoples. You select a scroll containing the first book of Herodotus, the book that describes the rise of the Persian Empire. The papyrus is well preserved, the writing clear and legible. You hand it to Apollodorus, who receives it with the reverence due to such a precious object. Read slowly. You advise gently. Let the words speak to you. Herodotus traveled to many lands, spoke with many people. His work is not just history, but a window into the diversity of human experience. Apollodorus nods solemnly and carries the scroll to one of the reading tables. He unrolls it carefully and begins to read. His lips move silently as he forms the words. A common practice among ancient readers, the habit helps with comprehension and gives the reader a sense of the rhythm and flow of the text. You return to your desk and continue your work. The sun climbs higher, and the light in the library grows stronger. Through the windows, you can see the bustling activity of the museum, the great institution of learning that houses the library. Scholars walk along the covered walkways, deep in discussion, their voices a gentle murmur in the morning air. The museum is more than just a library. It is a community of scholars. Supported by the Ptolemaic kings who rule Egypt, the scholars receive free meals, comfortable lodging, and access to the world's greatest collection of books. In return, they teach students, conduct research, and add to the sum of human knowledge. You think about the evening meals in the Great Hall, where scholars from many lands gather to share food and ideas. The conversations range from mathematics to medicine, from poetry to philosophy. The dining hall is filled with the warm glow of oil lamps, the scent of roasted meat and fresh bread, the sound of laughter and learned discourse. But for now, you are content to work in silence, surrounded by the accumulated wisdom of the ages. Each scroll represents years of study, careful observation, painstaking recording. The scribes who copied these works spent months forming each letter, ensuring that knowledge would survive the passage of time. Another student approaches, this one older, perhaps 30 years, with the calloused hands of someone who has worked with tools. His name is Ctesibius, and he is an inventor. His passion is for mechanical devices, machines that can perform useful work. He has heard that the library contains works on engineering and mechanics. Master Demetrius says, I seek the works of Archimedes, particularly his writings on the lever and the screw. You nod and lead him to the mathematics section, where Archimedes' works are carefully preserved. Archimedes is the greatest mathematician of your time, a man whose insights into the nature of circles and spheres have revolutionized geometry. But he is also a practical inventor, creator of machines that can lift heavy weights and move vast quantities of water. You select a scroll containing Archimedes' work on the equilibrium of planes, a treatise that explains the mathematical principles behind the lever. The work is technical, filled with geometric diagrams and mathematical proofs, but it reveals the underlying order that governs all mechanical systems. Ctesibius takes the scroll eagerly. His face lights up as he examines the diagrams. You can see his mind working, translating the abstract principles into practical applications. He is designing a new type of water clock, one that will keep more accurate time than any device yet created. The principle is simple. You explain gently, but the applications are limitless. Archimedes has shown that with the right lever, a man can move the world. Ctesibius nods enthusiastically and carries the scroll to a table near the windows, where the light is strongest. He spreads the papyrus carefully and begins to study the diagrams. His fingers trace the geometric figures. Following the logic of the proofs, you return to your desk, feeling the quiet satisfaction that comes from helping others discover knowledge. This is your greatest joy, sharing the treasures of the library with those who seek to learn. Each question answered, each scroll shared, adds to the great conversation that spans generations. The morning continues to pass slowly, peacefully. The library fills with the soft sounds of scholarship, the rustle of papyrus, the scratch of pens on wax tablets, the quiet whisper of students discussing difficult passages. These sounds create a symphony of learning. a harmony of human minds engaged in the pursuit of truth. You take a break from your cataloging work and walk slowly through the library, checking on the students, ensuring that all is well. The reading tables are occupied by scholars from many lands, Greeks and Egyptians, Phoenicians and Jews, all united in their love of learning. At one table, a young woman sits reading a scroll of poetry. Her name is Hypatia, and she is one of the few female scholars in the library. Her father is a mathematician, and he has given her the finest education available. She reads with intense concentration, her eyes following the elegant Greek verses. The scroll contains the works of Sappho, the great lyric poet from the island of Lesbos. Sappho's poems speak of love and beauty, of the joys and sorrows of the human heart. Her verses are like jewels, each word carefully chosen, each image perfectly crafted. You pause to watch Hypatia read. There is something beautiful about seeing a young mind encounter great poetry for the first time. The words of Sappho, written centuries ago, still have the power to move hearts and inspire souls. This is the true magic of the library, the ability to connect minds across time and space. At another table, an elderly scholar pores over a scroll of Egyptian hieroglyphs. His name is Manetho, and he is a priest from the Temple of Ptah in Memphis. He has dedicated his life to preserving the ancient wisdom of Egypt, translating the hieroglyphic texts into Greek so that they can be studied by scholars from other lands. The scroll contains a portion of the Book of the Dead, the ancient Egyptian guide to the afterlife. The hieroglyphs are beautiful, each symbol a small work of art. They tell of the journey of the soul through the underworld, of the trials and tribulations that await the dead, of the ultimate goal of eternal life. Manetho works slowly, carefully, each translation a labor of love. He knows that he is preserving something precious, something that might otherwise be lost forever. The old religion of Egypt is fading, replaced by the new gods of Greece and Rome. But here in the library, the ancient wisdom lives on. You continue your walk, feeling the profound peace that fills this sacred space. The library is more than a collection of books. It is a repository of human dreams, a treasure house of the human spirit. Here, the thoughts and hopes of countless generations are preserved for all time. You return to your desk and resume your cataloging work. The next scroll in your pile contains a work on astronomy, written by Aristarchus of Samos. Aristarchus has proposed a revolutionary theory that the Earth revolves around the Sun rather than the other way around. His ideas are controversial, challenging the accepted wisdom of the day. You examine the scroll carefully. The papyrus is of good quality, the writing clear and precise. Aristarchus has filled the margins with diagrams, showing the relative positions of the Earth, Moon, and Sun. His calculations are complex, but his reasoning is sound. You suspect that future generations will vindicate his bold theories. The scroll also contains observations of the stars, made from the great observatory attached to the library. The observatory is equipped with astrolabes and sundials, instruments that allow astronomers to measure the positions of celestial bodies with unprecedented accuracy. The observations are recorded in neat columns, a testament to the careful, systematic approach of Alexandrian scholarship. You make your catalog entry, noting the author, the subject, the condition of the scroll. This information will help future scholars find and use the work. You wonder what they will make of Aristarchus' theories, whether they will accept his radical ideas about the nature of the universe. The sun reaches its zenith, and the light in the library grows harsh and bright. The alabaster windows, which had glowed softly in the morning light, now seem to burn with an inner fire. You know that the heat of the day is approaching, the time when most work stops and people retreat to the shade. But here in the library, the temperature remains cool and comfortable. The thick stone walls keep out the heat, and the high ceiling allows the warm air to rise away from the scholars below. This is one of the advantages of the library's design. It provides a refuge from the extremes of weather, a place where learning can continue regardless of the season. You decide to take a short break and walk to the small garden attached to the library. The garden is enclosed by walls, creating a peaceful oasis in the heart of the city. Date palms provide shade, their fronds rustling gently in the breeze. A small fountain splashes quietly in the center, its water drawn from the same cisterns that supply the library. The garden is planted with herbs and flowers, many of them mentioned in the scrolls you care for. There are beds of papyrus, showing students where their writing material comes from. Lotus flowers bloom in small ponds, their white petals opening to the sun. The air is filled with the scent of jasmine and roses, sweet and intoxicating. You sit on a stone bench, feeling the warmth of the sun on your face. The bench is carved from local limestone, its surface smooth and cool. You close your eyes and listen to the sounds of the garden, the splash of the fountain, the buzz of bees among the flowers, the distant murmur of the city beyond the walls. This is your favorite time of day, when the morning's work is done and the afternoon stretches ahead. You think about the scrolls you have cataloged, the students you have helped, the small part you play in the great enterprise of preserving human knowledge. You are not a famous scholar. Your name will not be remembered by future generations, but you are content with your role. You are a guardian of wisdom, a keeper of the flame. Without people like you, the great works of literature and science would crumble into dust. A gentle breeze stirs the date palms, and you open your eyes. It is time to return to work. The afternoon brings new challenges, new scrolls to catalog, new students to help. You rise slowly from the bench and walk back into the library, refreshed and ready to continue. The afternoon light slants through the windows, casting long shadows across the marble floor. The library has a different character in the afternoon, more subdued, more contemplative. The harsh light of noon has given way to a softer, more golden glow. You return to your desk and find that a new scroll has been placed there. It is wrapped in purple silk, indicating that it comes from the royal library. The Ptolemaic kings maintain their own collection of scrolls, separate from the main library. This collection contains works that are considered too precious, too dangerous, or too secret for general access. You unwrap the scroll carefully. The silk is soft and smooth, dyed with murex, the purple dye that is worth more than gold. The dye comes from sea snails, and it takes thousands of shells to produce a single ounce of color. Only the wealthy can afford such luxury. The scroll contains a work by Eratosthenes, the great geographer who serves as the library's chief librarian. Eratosthenes has calculated the circumference of the Earth, using only the angle of shadows at different latitudes. His work is a masterpiece of mathematical reasoning, proving that the Earth is much larger than previously thought. You examine the scroll with special care. This is a draft of Eratosthenes' work, annotated in his own hand. The margins are filled with corrections and additions, showing the mind of a great scholar at work. You can see where he has changed calculations, refined arguments, added new evidence. The scroll also contains a map of the known world, drawn according to Eratosthenes' calculations. The map shows the Mediterranean Sea, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean. It extends from the Pillars of Hercules in the west to the Ganges River in the east, from the frozen lands of Scythia in the north to the burning sands of Africa in the south. You study the map with fascination. Each coastline, each river, each mountain range represents the accumulated knowledge of countless explorers and merchants. The map is not just a geographical document. It is a record of human curiosity and courage, of the desire to explore and understand the world. You make your catalog entry, noting the special nature of this scroll, its provisional status, its eventual destination in the Royal Library. This information will help future librarians track the development of Eratosthenes' work, showing how great scholarship evolves over time. A shadow falls across your desk, and you look up to see Apollodorus, the young student who had come seeking Herodotus. He looks troubled, confused. You can see that he has been wrestling with a difficult passage. Master Demetrius, he says softly, I do not understand. Herodotus writes of the customs of the Scythians, but they seem so strange, so barbaric. How can we trust his account? You set down your pen and give the young man your full attention. This is a good question, one that goes to the heart of historical scholarship. How do we evaluate the reliability of ancient sources? How do we separate fact from fiction, truth from prejudice? Herodotus was a careful observer. You explain gently, but he was also a man of his time. He saw the world through Greek eyes, and sometimes this colored his perception. The Scythians may have seemed barbaric to him, but they had their own rich culture, their own wisdom. You rise from your desk and walk with Apollodorus back to the history section. You select another scroll, this one containing the works of Xenophon, who also wrote about foreign peoples. Compare different accounts. You advise, look for common elements. Question what seems unlikely. Always remember that every author has his own perspective. Apollodorus nods thoughtfully, and carries the scroll back to his table. You watch him go, feeling the satisfaction of a teacher who has helped a student learn not just facts, but how to think critically about information. This is one of the most important skills the library can teach. You return to your desk and continue your work. The afternoon passes slowly, peacefully. The library gradually empties as scholars complete their daily tasks. The light fades, and the oil lamps are lit, their flames flickering gently in the evening breeze. As the day draws to a close, you begin to prepare for the evening. First, you must secure the scrolls, ensuring that each one is properly stored, protected from dust and moisture. The most precious scrolls are kept in special containers, made of cedar wood and lined with silk. These containers are then placed in locked chests, protected by guards throughout the night. You walk through the library checking each section, ensuring that no scrolls have been left out on the tables. The empty reading tables gleam in the lamplight, their marble surfaces polished to a mirror finish. Tomorrow, they will again be filled with scholars, but for now, they rest in peaceful silence. You pause at the philosophy section, where the works of Plato and Aristotle wait for tomorrow's readers. These scrolls contain some of the most profound thoughts ever recorded. Ideas about justice and beauty, about the nature of reality and the purpose of human life. You feel humbled to be their guardian. In the poetry section, the works of Homer rest silently, their ancient stories of heroes and gods waiting to inspire new generations. The scrolls are worn from use, their edges softened by countless hands, but the power of the words remains undiminished. Each time they are read, they come alive again. You complete your circuit of the library and return to your desk. On the desktop, you leave a small oil lamp burning, its flame a beacon in the darkness. This lamp will burn all night, a symbol of the eternal light of knowledge. Even in the darkest hours, learning continues. You climb the stairs to your chamber, feeling the pleasant fatigue that comes from a day well spent. Your footsteps echo softly on the stone steps, a gentle rhythm that marks the end of another day. Behind you, the library settles into its nighttime quiet, but you know that the scrolls continue their silent work, preserving the wisdom of the ages. In your chamber, you prepare for the evening meal. The dining hall will be filled with scholars from many lands, their conversations ranging from mathematics to medicine, from poetry to philosophy. But sometimes, you prefer the quiet of your own room, the company of your books. You light a small oil lamp and take down one of your personal scrolls. This one contains the works of Menander, the comic playwright whose gentle humor speaks to the joys and sorrows of everyday life. His characters are not heroes or gods, but ordinary people facing ordinary problems. Their struggles and triumphs remind you that wisdom can be found in the simplest things. You unroll the scroll slowly and begin to read. The words flow like music, each line perfectly crafted, each joke carefully timed. Menander understood that laughter is one of humanity's greatest gifts, a way of finding joy even in difficult times. As you read, You can almost hear the actors speaking the lines, the audience laughing at the clever wordplay, the gentle applause at the end of each scene. The power of drama to bring people together, to create shared experiences, never ceases to amaze you. Outside your window, the city of Alexandria settles into evening. The streets, which had bustled with activity during the day, grow quiet. Only the night watchmen patrol the marble corridors, their footsteps echoing in the darkness. The lighthouse continues its eternal vigil, its beams sweeping across the dark waters of the Mediterranean. You think about the day's work, the scrolls you cataloged, the students you helped, the small part you played in the great enterprise of preserving human knowledge. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, new scrolls to examine, new minds to inspire. But for now, you are content to rest, to enjoy the peaceful silence of the night. The oil lamp flickers gently, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The flame reminds you of the eternal light of learning, the fire that burns in every curious mind. This fire has burned since the beginning of time, and it will continue to burn long after you are gone. You set aside the scroll and prepare for sleep. Your bed is simple, a wooden frame with a mattress of woven reeds, covered with soft linen sheets. The bed is positioned near the window, where you can see the stars shining in the clear night sky. As you lie down, you think about the vastness of the universe, about the countless worlds that may exist beyond the reach of human knowledge. The stars seem to wink at you, as if sharing some cosmic secret. You wonder what future generations will discover, what new scrolls will be added to the library's collection. The night air is cool and fresh, carrying the scent of jasmine from the garden below. You breathe deeply, feeling the peace that comes with the end of a productive day. Your work is quiet, unnoticed by most, but essential to the great enterprise of human learning. You close your eyes and let your mind wander, drifting like a ship on a calm sea. The sounds of the city fade away, replaced by the gentle rhythm of your own breathing. You think about the scrolls, thousands upon thousands of them, each one a treasure, each one a link in the great chain of human knowledge. In your dreams, you walk through infinite libraries, their shelves stretching to the heavens. Each scroll glows with its own inner light, and voices whisper from every page, telling stories of love and loss, of discovery and wonder, of the eternal human quest for understanding. The scrolls speak to you in many languages: Greek and Latin, Egyptian and Hebrew. Each language carries its own wisdom, its own way of seeing the world. Together, they form a chorus of human voices, singing the song of civilization. You see the faces of the scholars who created these works, men and women who dedicated their lives to learning, who sacrificed comfort and wealth for the sake of knowledge. Their eyes shine with the fire of curiosity, their hands steady as they form each letter, each word a gift to future generations. In your dream, you are not alone. The library is filled with the spirits of all who have loved learning, students and teachers, writers and readers, all united in the common pursuit of truth. Their presence is comforting, a reminder that you are part of something greater than yourself. The dream fades, and you sink deeper into sleep. Your breathing becomes slow and regular. Your body relaxes into the soft mattress. The night breeze stirs the curtains, bringing the scent of the Mediterranean, the eternal sea that has witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. But here in the library, time seems to stand still. The scrolls wait patiently, preserving the wisdom of the past for the benefit of the future. And you, their humble guardian, rest peacefully, knowing that you have played your part in the great work of preservation. The hours pass slowly, marked only by the distant sound of the night watch, their voices calling the time. All is well. All is well. The city sleeps, but the library remains vigilant, its treasures protected, its mission unchanged. In the quiet hours before dawn, when the world is at its most peaceful, the scrolls seem to whisper among themselves, sharing secrets, exchanging ideas. The library becomes a living thing, breathing with the rhythm of human knowledge, pulsing with the heartbeat of civilization. You sleep deeply, dreamlessly, your spirit refreshed by the day's work, your mind at peace. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, new opportunities to serve the cause of learning. But for now, you rest, surrounded by the accumulated wisdom of the ages. The stars will overhead, following their eternal patterns. The constellations tell their ancient stories of heroes and monsters, of gods and mortals. These same stars shone down on Homer as he composed his epics, on Euclid as he pondered his geometric proofs, on all the great minds who have contributed to human knowledge, and they shine down on you, humble keeper of scrolls, guardian of wisdom. Your work may seem small, but it is part of the great tapestry of human achievement. Each scroll you preserve, each student you help, adds another thread to the pattern, another note to the eternal song. The night deepens, and the city grows even quieter. Only the most essential sounds remain: the gentle lapping of waves against the harbor, the distant call of a night bird, the soft whisper of wine through the date palms. These sounds create a lullaby, a peaceful symphony that soothes the soul. Your breathing becomes even slower, deeper, your body sinking into the soft mattress. The linen sheets, woven from flax that grew beside the life-giving Nile, wrap around you like a gentle embrace. The pillow, stuffed with soft down from the geese that nest in the delta, cradles your head. In the deepest part of sleep, you dream of the river itself, the great Nile that brings life to Egypt. You float gently on its dark waters, carried by the current, past temples and towns, past fields of grain and groves of date palms. The river sings as it flows, an ancient song that has echoed through the ages. The song tells of the first scribes, who learned to capture words on papyrus, of the first libraries, built in the temples of Memphis and Thebes, of the long journey that led to this moment, to this great library in Alexandria, where all the world's knowledge comes together like tributaries flowing into a great river. You drift on the dark waters, feeling perfectly safe, perfectly at peace. The stars reflect in the water like scattered diamonds, And the moon, full and silver, bathes everything in gentle light. This is the same moon that has watched over Egypt for thousands of years. The same moon that will continue to watch long after you are gone. The current carries you past a small village, where oil lamps flicker in the windows, and you can hear the soft voices of families sharing their evening meal. Children laugh as they play simple games, their joy echoing across the water. This is the Egypt you love. Not just the great monuments and temples, but the everyday life of ordinary people. The river flows on, carrying you past reed beds where papyrus grows tall and straight. The reeds whisper in the night breeze, telling stories of the scribes who will harvest them, of the scrolls that will be made from their fiber, of the words that will be written on their surface. Each reed is a potential book, a vessel for human thought. You pass a small temple, its white limestone walls glowing in the moonlight. Inside, priests are keeping the night vigil, tending the eternal flame, reading from the sacred texts. The temple is like a smaller version of the library, a place where knowledge is preserved and honored. The dream river carries you gently forward, past sleeping towns, past quiet fields. The water is warm and supportive, like the embrace of a loving parent. You feel completely relaxed, completely at ease. All the worries of the day have dissolved, leaving only peace. A school of fish swims beside you, their scales glinting silver in the moonlight. They move in perfect harmony, each one part of a larger whole, like the scrolls in the library. Each fish is individual, unique, but together they create something beautiful, something greater than the sum of their parts. The riverbank is lined with flowering lotus plants, their white petals closed for the night, but their sweet fragrance still fills the air. The lotus is sacred to the Egyptians, a symbol of rebirth and renewal. Each day the flowers open to greet the sun, and each night they close in peaceful sleep. You drift past a group of fishermen, their nets spread wide in the water. They work silently, patiently, waiting for the fish to come to them. Their work requires skill and patience. Like the work of a librarian, both require the ability to wait, to watch, to be ready when the moment comes. The moon begins to set, and the eastern sky shows the first pale hint of dawn. But you are not ready to wake. Not yet. The river continues to carry you deeper into the heart of Egypt, deeper into the realm of dreams, where time has no meaning and all things are possible. You pass the great pyramids, rising like mountains from the desert, their limestone blocks, each one perfectly cut and fitted, remind you of the scrolls in the library. Each pyramid is made of countless stones. Just as the library is made of countless scrolls, both are monuments to human persistence, to the desire to create something lasting. The river curves gently, following the natural contours of the land. The water is ancient, older than the pyramids, older than the first cities. It has flowed here since the beginning of time, carrying life to the desert, creating the green ribbon of fertility that is Egypt. You think about the generations of people who have lived beside this river, who have drunk its water, grown their crops in its rich soil, written their stories on papyrus made from its reeds. All of them are gone now, but their words remain, preserved in the scrolls of the library. The dream river carries you to a place you have never seen, a hidden valley where the Nile divides into countless small channels. Each channel is crystal clear, and you can see fish swimming in the depths, water plants swaying in the current. The water here is the source of all knowledge, the fountain from which all wisdom flows. You reach out to touch the water, and it feels warm and alive, filled with energy and possibility. This is the water that will become papyrus, that will carry the ink of scribes, that will preserve the thoughts of philosophers and poets. It is the lifeblood of learning. The channels of the river form complex patterns. Like the organization of the library, each channel has its purpose, its destination, but all are connected, all part of the same great system. The water flows where it needs to go, just as knowledge flows to those who seek it. You notice that the water is filled with tiny points of light, like stars reflected from above. But these lights seem to move independently, swirling and dancing in the current. Each point of light is a piece of knowledge, a fact, an idea, a story. Together they create a galaxy of wisdom.